Hi, I'm John Cooper. I'm a stand-up comedian, an illustrator, and a website developer. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about WordPress. I've been using WordPress for years and years and years and years, and I've even got a show called Confessions of a WordPress Fanatic, which is a stand-up comedy show about WordPress. In this video, I'm going to be answering the questions that I get asked most often about WordPress and people who have WordPress websites. If you haven't got a website, why to get a WordPress one would be good. And if you have got a website that uses WordPress, how best to use it, a bit of best practice and some guidelines to help you if you become unstuck and start having problems. There are two different versions of WordPress. There's WordPress.com and what I call full fat WordPress. WordPress.com is your free version, similar to Wix or Squarespace or one of those other services where you can log on and get yourself a free website. Full fat WordPress is where you spend a little bit of money and get yourself some hosting space and install a copy of WordPress on that space. WordPress.com, bit like being at school, all the kids are different, but they've all got to wear a school uniform. There are restrictions. WordPress installed on your own bit of internet land, far more scalable. You have access to things called plugins and extensions and themes that you don't necessarily have with the free version, and there's a lot more you can do. So over the two versions, go with the full fat one. Sometimes it's worth backtracking and answering the really simple question, what is a website? Imagine your website is a house and it sits on a bit of land. The house is the website and the bit of land that it sits on is your website hosting space. The front door is your domain name, your website address, and the letterbox is your email address. That's your website. If you're someone who spends a bit of time promoting yourself or your work or your business online to social media spaces like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever, are you doing that on your website as well? I think personally, best practice, it's really important to start with the website as the mothership and then share it out to those social media spaces. The reason being, you will always own your bit of web space. The bit of internet real estate that you have is yours, whereas all of these things such as Facebook, Twitter, etc., you don't own them, and you only have a sufficient level of control over that. If they ever decided to change, for example, MySpace, or become less popular, or the cultural thing moves on, you're on the internet, you're standing in a river, it's always going to move. Technology and culture will just keep moving. You only have a sufficient level of control over this, so be aware of what you're putting online. If it's stuff of value like a case study or a project or important photos, by all means put them there. Maybe put them on your website and share them to social media, and that way you will always keep control of that which is yours, and people have a place to go to for permanence, basically. Social media is social media. It moves quickly. It's quite transient. It's all about the latest thing. If you suddenly want to find a photograph from a few years ago and you haven't put it in something like a tagged Facebook album, it's going to be really hard to find. Whereas if you put it on your website, you can tag it and search it, and it's a lot easier. So important bits of content that you're going to want to stand the test of time with, and things like, if a holiday is important to you, that could be a thing. If a case study from work is important to you, that's a thing. Those are ideal for websites, and it's good, solid website content that you can, as I repeat myself, share to social media, have it on your website. How do I get on page 1 of Google? Or more realistically, how do I get my website seen by search engines? This is search engine optimization. If you have a free website like the ones I've mentioned earlier, then good luck, because that's a real limitation. Imagine free websites as an infinite block of flats going up into the sky, and Google is the postman. He's going to have a hard time looking for you. So by having your own website on your own little bit of hosting space, that's your own little patch of land, and the postman can find you more easily, and so can traffic. WordPress has a plugin called Yoast, which guides you through the process of making your pages easy to be seen by search engines. Search engines do not like waffle, and Yoast is really good at guiding you into condensing what you've written into something that search engines can digest a lot quicker. Plugins. This is where it gets really interesting, because this is when no two websites are the same. There are hundreds of thousands of plugins that your WordPress site can run. Anything from galleries, which WordPress already does, to events managers, up to e-commerce, selling on your website, and search engine optimization. There are lots of things you can add to your site. WordPress was originally conceived as a blog. It's there for anyone. If you can use computers, you should be able to use WordPress comfortably. So if you're logging into your site and for some reason it's slow, or you find the interface complicated and it hasn't been explained to you, and you're finding adding content to it complex, something may have gone wrong in the design process, and that's a conversation to have with your web developer to make sure that the experience you're having with it is comfortable. Because there are some plugins are great, some plugins aren't so great, and the difference is quite significant, because there are some plugins called page builders that fundamentally change the way WordPress works. Here is an example of a classic WordPress page. This is what the interface looks like, and some examples of page builder styles as well. As you can see, they are very different. At the time of recording this, WordPress are also releasing their own drag and drop page builder. Hopefully in time that'll be the best of the bunch, but my advice is go with what feels right for you if you're going to be the one updating your website. So, in summary, you have a website that uses WordPress. Why doesn't it do all the things that my friend's website does? Is it a WordPress.com site, or is it a full-fat WordPress site? Check that. Does it have different plugins? Most likely it does. Little checklist for plugins that you probably should have: search engine optimization, a firewall, a contact form, a page builder, or not, depending on what your personal preference is. If it's a comfortable experience for you, you should be able to just log in, add stuff as you wish, categorize it. I like categorizing things, and see it and share it with the world, because WordPress is excellent and you should have fun with it. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe, check out the other videos on this channel. I've been John. Goodbye.